Taking more steps in avoiding transparency, especially when it comes to Donald Trump's conversations with foreign leaders. So according to recent reporting, the White House will no longer publish summaries from President Trump's calls with world leaders. And there are readabouts which are historically, put out by the White House. So reporters can kind of keep an eye on what's going on, what these conversations are really about. Now, the phone conversations rarely contain news, but are the only proof or record of such a call taking place. They are distributed internally and often contain descriptions of what was discussed. So this all started to kind of unravel back in mid-June when the White House was releasing these readouts that really didn't have much detail at all. So the last readout was published by the White House on June 16th and contained a vague 3-sentence summary of Trump's call with the Hungarian prime minister. But now they've decided, we're not gonna do any of these readouts anymore, period. Now this is problematic because oftentimes when there are calls with, let's say, Trump and a world leader, there could be two sides to the story. That was the case when Trump had a call with Justin Trudeau in regard to trade negotiations. Trump's White House made it seem as though they had this great amicable discussion, when in reality, well, I'm inclined to believe Justin Trudeau, but Justin Trudeau claimed that the call was a little more combative. So it's hard to get the US's narrative or perspective on these discussions if the White House is refusing to be transparent about it. There's another component, but Cenk, I want you to jump in.
Yeah, so apparently in that call with Canada, Trump talked about how Canada burned down the White House, which of course they never did. When the White House was burned down, Canada did not even exist.
Where did he get that from?
Because the English came from what is now Canada.
Oh,
okay, so they controlled it back then. Canada would not exist for another 50 years. And the English came down and burned down the White House. But so what does he know? He doesn't know anything.
Yes.
So he comes and goes, well, you guys burned you're a national security threat. That's why I had to do tariffs. And Trudeau's like, national security threat? So you remember when you burned down the White House? And Trudeau's like, no, I don't remember that because that didn't happen. Anyway, but that goes to the heart of this story, which is he doesn't want you to have the transcript or even summaries, because then it would show that he's lying.
There is absolutely no pushback from Republican lawmakers about this story, none, zero. There's absolutely no Republican pushback about Trump's executive power, how he flexes executive power, how he issues executive orders. I mean, there was so much controversy about Obama using executive actions. They thought that it was just the wrong way to go about things. But Trump has been doing things unilaterally. No pushback from Republicans.
But to be fair, Anna, I'm not sure that the Republicans would have been hypocritical about other things, like Trump's affairs and payoffs to his mistresses. If Obama had had multiple affairs while his wife had just given birth and was paying people off during campaigns, I'm sure the Republicans would have let it slide.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and then of course, the Supreme Court issue where they're trying to rush Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation when they did the exact opposite when it came to Merrick Garland because it was an election year. Anyway, the list goes on and on. But there's another part of this that I really want to discuss because it's just incredible how the White House also tries to alter transcripts and omit certain things that make Donald Trump look bad. So for instance, when Donald Trump had his joint press conference in Helsinki with Vladimir Putin was asked whether or not he wanted Trump to win the election. Here is the video.
Do you want President Trump to win the election? And did you direct any of your officials to help him do that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because he talked about bringing the US-Russia relationship back to normal.
So the White House has omitted that, has basically taken out that interaction from the official White House transcripts.
Okay, it goes to the heart of who Donald Trump is, both a liar and stupid. We already saw it, the whole world saw it. We all have it on tape. So he's like, no, I got it. You just, when Putin said he wanted me to win, you just take it out of the transcript.
No, I know. I know that we've all seen it, and maybe I'm wrong, but tell me what you think about this perspective. I don't think it's about convincing Americans about what's really going on today. I think it's about basically taking hold and controlling the narrative for history. like for US history in the future, right?
No.
So if it's not in the official, White House transcripts, did it really happen? Sure, there'll be video of it, but who knows? I just feel like it's an attempt to whitewash everything.
I hear you, Anna, and it's a great point. A lot of people have already called it Orwellian, because it is. The government says, do not listen to your ears and do not believe your eyes. So bow your head, okay? And it's also the technical definition of politically correct. Both the Soviets and the Nazis would say, yes, that is technically correct, but it is not politically correct. So you should strike that from the record, and they would not allow you to use certain language, etc. So in this case, they go, well, it is obviously factually correct that Putin said that, but it is not politically correct that he said that. So remove it from the transcript. But it's such a ham-handed, is it ham-handed or fisted? Either way, ham-fisted way of doing that, right? Because it's not 1948. It's not it's not the old days where the government just wipes it off and no one knows. Maybe some guy wrote it in a newspaper, but you could easily deny it. It's the year 2018. We all see it. We all already saw it. So to try to wipe the record clean, you cannot do that in this day and age. But he's too stupid to realize that. All it does is exposes you further. But I have even better news. So he wipes that away because he's obviously guilty and he's trying to cover up his guilt. But the more important part of the story is there is no summary of his one-on-one meeting with Putin. He would not allow it. Oh, the schmuck admitted things when he was with Putin. I don't know how we're gonna find out. I don't know if it's because of the translators. I don't know if Mueller can somehow get his hands on that information. And Trump, he's such an idiot, and so are his lawyers, that maybe they'll bungle it right into the prosecutor's hands as they did with the Michael Cohen tapes. But he must have said things there talking about his collusion. And so you can say, oh no, Cenk, you're doing speculation. All right, believe whatever the hell you want to believe. Here's what we know. Trump's like, no, don't let anybody find out even a summary of what I said to Putin. So he must have said things that were, I mean, if you're a logical person, would show that he's guilty, of course. And he's so stupid, I told you can't cover it up. He'd probably go in there and go, Vlad, what do you need me to do next? Don't worry, it's just me and you in this room.
So there are some updates to this whole story. If you can recall, even though it was a terrible idea, Donald Trump had invited Vladimir Putin to the White House. They were supposed to meet in Washington, D.C. And it has just been reported today that the White House has decided to postpone that meeting until after the midterm elections, likely in 2019. And I think it's because finally someone in his circle convinced him that it is a terrible idea in the middle of this investigation, after this hellish joint press conference in Helsinki. It's a terrible idea to invite Vladimir Putin to the White House. And look, it's not necessarily a terrible idea to invite Vladimir Putin for a discussion, right? In any other context, I'd be fine with that. In the context of Donald Trump, if you care about him and you don't want him to make more mistakes, you want to dissuade him from inviting Vladimir Putin.
Look, a couple of the guys here, I hadn't thought of it, but Jesus, Edwin, the guys who work on the crew, our director, et cetera, made a great point. If Putin had come into the Oval Office, he would have sat in the president's chair. And they would have taken a picture and they would have put it out. I know it's obvious speculation, we'll probably never find out. But he would have done it because that's who Putin is. And he would have made sure that Reek knew where he stood.
Yeah.
And it would have been devastating to Trump. So this is a rare situation where Trump's advisors have headed off disaster. But disaster is coming either way. Now this, again, I grant you this is speculation, okay? And I'm being clear with you about it. But I know guys like Putin. I certainly don't know Putin himself. But he has that smirk on his face throughout that entire press conference where he's pulling the strings on Trump and getting Trump to say, I don't know why it would have been the Russians. It would probably not. It was our intelligence is stupid and weak, right?
Yep.
Russia is strong, right? So during that press conference, he's got that smirk on his face. And then they ask him the thing that we were just telling you about. Did you want Trump to win? And he's like, of course I did. Now you don't admit that if you're trying to cover things up. My guess is he will milk Trump for everything that he could possibly get out of him, see if he could destroy the NATO alliance, et cetera, et cetera. And then when he's done with Trump, he's gonna release the compromat anyway. Because that's who Putin is. He's a bad guy. And he revels in his power, and he revels in destroying things. And even if you say, hey, Cenk, you're trying to psychoanalyze Putin, okay, fair. But remember that Putin, the other objective he had was chaos in America. And if you want chaos, at the end, you'd release the P tape anyway. Okay, so tick, 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 tick.
Listen, I think Ben Mankiewicz is right when he says a picture is not necessarily worth 1,000 words. But with that said, to Cenk's point, take a look at this. I mean, that smirk, you're right. He had that smirk throughout the entire summit.
I love the bowing posture of Trump even more, but the smirk does add a nice little touch to it, like, now what did I tell you, Reek? Yes, sir, America's at fault, not Russia. I'm so sorry for America, sir. Oh my God, that, again, I know we're overanalyzing it. It's just one snapshot in time.
No, let's be clear. The picture means nothing. I just think it's funny and entertaining.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But that, unfortunately, if we are right, is the picture of their relationship. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below. Then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.